Welcome to the latest episode of the Federal's Worldly Wise, a weekly video program where we take a closer look at trending international issues. In his trademark style, United States President Donald Trump managed to attract considerable attention to his just concluded visit to the Middle East, a region we in India refer to as West Asia. The media, analysts, and officials from all over have called Trump's visit a game changer, that he managed to cross well defined lines and potentially triggered a makeover of politics and interpersonal equations among the various leaders in the region. But was that really the case? Or is there more hype than substance to what is being touted by some as Trump's shakeup of the Middle East's diplomatic setup? Okay, so what did Trump actually do during his visit from May 13th to May 16th? Number one, he managed to extract promises of huge investments into the US from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, worth billions of dollars, with some estimating the number to go up to $4 trillion. Saudi Arabia alone is expected to invest $600 billion in the US. Second, Trump, with a snap of his fingers, scrapped a 45-year-old US economic sanctions on Syria and met its president, Ahmad al-Shara, a former Al Qaeda member. The US had categorized al-Shara, a terrorist, his organization, the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or the HTS, as a terror organization, and had placed a bounty of $10 million on al-Shara's head until December, when the HTS ousted Bashar al-Assad from power. The US president openly exhorted Saudi Arabia to join the Abraham Accords, meaning he wanted the Saudis to normalize relations with Israel, no less. Trump agreed to sell weapons worth $145 billion to Saudi Arabia, reportedly the single largest deal of weaponry sale between any two countries. Trump has initiated a dialogue with US's bitter rival Iran to halt its alleged nuclear weapons program. He agreed to lift US export restrictions on high-end state-of-the-art chips used in artificial intelligence to Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. And the icing in the cake, the US president, in a rare move, did not visit Israel during this trip, something that past US presidents would always include in their itinerary when on a visit to the Middle East. Trump, in keeping with his reputation, attracted much attention due to his unpredictability. Contrary to conventional presidents, he did not care about the various fault lines, historical rivalries, and red lines in the region, arguably the most volatile in the world today. Despite knowing how bombastic Trump can be, his loose use of language, and someone who has no qualms on hyping an issue, much of the media and analysts have gone gaga over his pronouncements during the visit. For example, his decision not to visit Israel has been interpreted to mean that there is friction in relations with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. While it is not uncommon for two leaders to disagree on issues, it is wishful thinking to stretch it and assume it will have a bearing on the ongoing conflict between the Palestinians and Israel. The relationship between the US and Israel is organic, deep, and time tested. Disagreements between two individuals who happen to lead their respective countries will not lead to anything bigger. Even as Trump was visiting the region, Israel continued to pummel Gaza in its deadly ongoing assault that has been going on since the Hamas attack of October 7, 2 years ago. An estimate 55,000 Palestinians in Gaza have already been killed in Israeli attacks. Worse, both Trump and Netanyahu are on the same page in wanting to turn Gaza into some sort of an enclave, preferably after pushing out the remaining Palestinians. Trump initially proposed a Mediterranean type Riviera. During the recent trip, he called it Freedom Zone. Netanyahu hasn't called it anything except making his intentions known: clear Gaza of Palestinians. Trump, with a solid track record of unstinted support for Israel, asked the Saudis to join the Abraham Accords, but quickly added that they could do so at the time of their convenience. In effect, Trump's neglect of Netanyahu could at the most be described as a storm in a teacup. It has happened in the past between Israeli presidents and their American counterparts. Netanyahu himself had a cold phase in his relationship with former President Barack Obama. As for the Saudis joining the Abraham Accords, meaning diplomatic relationship being restored with Israel, polite words were exchanged when Trump brought up the topic. Even Trump himself realized he was probably being overly optimistic and tempered his suggestion, saying whenever the Saudis felt it was appropriate, they could start the relationship with Israel. With the deadly Gaza assault going on and the Palestinian Israeli conflict nowhere near the two state solution, it's going to be a long time, if ever, for the Saudis to come anywhere near the Abraham Accords, unless the ruling family under Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman decides to commit political harakiri by going along with Trump. Much is being made out of Trump's meeting Syria's Ahmad al-Shara. In reality, it should not be a surprise at all, as it is widely acknowledged that the US, Israel, and Turkey played a key role in the ouster of Bashar al Assad by the Hayat Tahrir al Sham, or the HTS, led by al Shara. Though the media routinely calls al Shara a former terrorist, he actually parted ways with Al Qaeda in 2016 and set up the organization that eventually became the HTS. Bashar al Assad's ouster removed a bitter enemy of Israel, its neighbor, and it was but a matter of time before there would be some sort of an arrangement between post Assad Syria, Israel, and the US. Trump, on paper, may have lifted the decades long sanction against Syria and met its president. In reality, this was always expected, belying the hype or Trump's allegedly friendly overture. The other big splash Trump made was related to the US talks with Iran to halt its nuclear program. The US move to talk with Iran appears more like a diktat rather than an invitation to an equal for one to one talks. Wasn't it Trump who in 2018 abruptly walked out of the nuclear agreement that the US and its European allies had signed with Iran? And worse, reinstated sanctions against the Islamic nation? With that kind of a track record, Trump's invitation is being viewed suspiciously by Tehran. And its top leader of Islamic clerics, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has made that expressly clear. After 4 rounds of talks with Oman, which is the go between for the US and Iran, they will need more evidence of Trump's sincerity before Iran commits to anything. So, politically, with all the ifs and buts, Trump's alleged achievements don't appear to count for much. Being a businessman more than a president, Trump's success in attracting investment into the US and receiving a free gift of $400 million worth airplane from Qatar are his Pyrrhic victories. For Trump to be decisively called a peacemaker or even a statesman of sorts, he needs to substantially show he has actually made a difference. Let's not forget, the world is still waiting for his promised end to the Ukraine Russia war that he had said would be done in a single day. Thank you.